Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Saturday, April the 9th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Josh Crash Davis. And we are here to go over a 3-game NBA main slate on the second to last day of the NBA season. And it has been a wild, whirly, dervish week for sure in the NBA. We're going to break that down. We're also going to build a 2 brains are better than 1 GPP lineup. And we're going to give you our top 2 Prizepicks plays of the day in the NBA for the main slate. So that is it. Josh, how are you on this wonderful Saturday? Double duty with baseball and basketball. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm a little tired. I had to get up early this morning to do that MLB podcast, and hopefully everybody was able to see that, and hopefully it'll help people win today. But yeah, ready to crush it this morning.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, and baseball's off to a hot start, so that's fantastic. Tomorrow I'm tackling, Josh, this is going to be hilarious, but I'm going to tackle the final NBA slate by myself, and it's all 30 teams playing.
Oh, wow. So you're not going to have Deb to help you tomorrow, huh?
No, Deb is traveling.
Oh, okay.
So I'm Han Solo tomorrow, and with all the different scenarios of most of them, it doesn't matter. A few it does. A few, there's so many different things. It's hilarious. But you know what? We're going to try to find every little edge we can, try to finish on a winning note today and tomorrow in the NBA. And then, boy, am I stoked for the playoffs, though.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it a little bit earlier, and really the Suns have separated themselves. They're the team to beat, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be favorites in every series. But after that, I think any series could go either way. I mean, they'll be favorites, but there's no lockdowns,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to make for a lot of fun for the playoffs for sure.
Definitely.
No doubt. All right, we're going to dive into this. We'll hit all of these things so everybody has a chance to take a listen. I know we're all going to be glued this afternoon to the Masters coverage. We had all but one of our guys on all 3 sites get through the cut, and we're in pretty good position there with some really interesting stuff going on, and then all the baseball going on. So everybody's juggling everything. We want to make this one fairly quick so that you have a chance, our listeners have a chance to listen, get that info, start plugging in those lineups for tonight. All right, we're going to hit it. First game, my man. And by the way, this podcast is presented by Prizepicks. Go to prizepicks.com, sign up with the promo code CoachTalk, all one word, no space, and they will match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100 on that very first deposit when you use the code Coach Talk. So go for it. It is a lot of fun, and we're having some great success at it as well. All right, the first game on the NBA slate, it is the New Orleans Pelicans and Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis favored by 6, a 229.5 total, 111.75 implied for the Pels, 117.75 implied for the Memphis Grizzlies. As far as any injuries reported in this game, we have Brandon Ingram questionable. So that's something we need to solidify. And we know Zion has not played yet. The other monster questionable is Ja Morant. Will they play him? He's, getting ready for the playoffs. Will they play him a few minutes, a little bit, a decent enough to score fantasy points? That's what we have to determine. And then Culver, Terry, and Tilly are out for the Grizz. So an interesting one, like they all are right now. What is your initial thought on this early game at 6 p.m.?
Yeah, I think if Ingram's out, obviously CJ McCollum's going to be one of the top plays on the slate. He had one of his best games of the year at Memphis last time on March 8th with 58.5 DK points. He had 32 real points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists. So 8,300 on FanDuel, 8,200 on Draftkings is a fair price for him. So I do like CJ McCollum here, obviously, especially if Ingram's out. And then I think Jose Alvarado is a value play, 4,200 on FanDuel, 3,800 on DraftKings. He's been seeing extended minutes of late. I think that Memphis is probably going to come out red hot after getting blown out in Denver. And, so I think that Alvarado could see, quite a few minutes here in a blowout situation. So potentially. So those would probably be the only two plays I really like on the New Orleans side. Joe Val struggled a little bit with Steven Adams this year, so I don't want to go to him. Yeah. And there's just not really a lot that I like on New Orleans. On the Memphis side, Tyus Jones, obviously, if Morant's still out, really either way, because we don't expect Morant to play a lot of minutes. 6,300 on FanDuel, 6,000 on DK. Right. And then Desmond Bane, 6,800 on both sites. He's a solid play for me. Dylan Brooks, 5,600 on FanDuel, 5,700 on DK. And that's probably about it for me, I think, in this game.
Yeah, it's not my favorite of the three either. And, the news is going to be ultra important. If Joss sits, Jones is automatic for me. I think there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And even if Morant plays, I see 18 minutes, I'm thinking, something like that, maybe 22 at the most. Probably. So I'm not going to go to him at all. But I do like Desmond Bane a lot. Like you said, I think he's a scoring leader for them when he's out there. I would consider Brooks a little bit. I want to avoid the Joe Val versus Adams scenario because they did sort of cancel each other out when they played. Like we had mentioned, they probably would because it is a somewhat similar duo there that were traded for each other. And, McCollum's been terrific. There's no doubt about it. And with Ingram out, he is going to be a volume shooter. So you got to go for it with him. If Ingram's back in, I'm still not going to go to Ingram because I think he'll be minutes restricted to some extent. But it would take a notch out of the McCollum bandwagon there. I agree with you on Alvarado. I mean, he's getting extended minutes. And watching the games, man, he gives them such a lift. I think not only is he playable today, but we got to keep an eye on him as they enter the playoffs because as a guard off the bench, he gets steals immediately. He's just a spark plug for that team. And just a guy to keep an eye on, certainly one that I'll consider today. And then Herb Jones, we always talk about him. He stays pretty cheap. He's a grinder.
Right.
He's, a third option a lot of times, but he'll get you some stocks and some, do some things that make him fantasy, viable. So I think there's a few guys you can come away with here. Normally on a big slate, no, but on a 3-game slate, there are some guys I think you can get fairly inexpensive that can make your lineup work.
Yep.
All right. Game 2, it is an 8:30 game, so we only have 2.5 hours to wait for Game 2. It is the Golden State Warriors, San Antonio Spurs. And again, in this one, we'll see. Spurs are battling in that last spot there to see who finishes 9th or 10th. So they're trying to finish strong. Amazing that they beat out the Lakers, but it is what it is. Golden State's only favored by 6 here. It's a 220 total, 113 implied for Golden State, 107 for the San Antonio Spurs. For Golden State, we know Curry and Clay are out, so no Splash Brothers whatsoever. For the Spurs, Langford is probable, bunch of guys out. Johnson, McDermott, Murray, Pirtle, and Vassell. So somewhat of a starting lineup, if you will, for the Spurs all sitting. So it does bring a lot of guys into play here that have been doing very well, been active, and they're priced right. So, this game, I think, has some teeth to it because I think there's some strong plays usage-wise and, getting shots up on both sides that make sense. Are you looking to roster some folks here?
Yeah. Jordan Poole, 7,900 on FanDuel, 8,000 on DK. Obviously, he's going to be the top option for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Gary Payton II, I think he's in play here at 4,100 on FanDuel, 3,700 on DK with Klay Thompson out. Also like Andrew Wiggins a little bit, 6,200 on both sites. And then as far as the Spurs go, Trey Jones at 6,500. He's coming up a little bit on price on FanDuel for sure.
Yeah.
Still 5,400 on DK, so a good value still on DK.
Right.
And then with Pirtle and Johnson out, Zach Collins has been getting all the usage basically. He's 5,000 on FanDuel, 4,500 on DK. I don't know. Do you think that Landell's going to get any minutes at all? He hasn't been getting them lately, so I'm concerned that he's going to not play, and I don't want to play him, even though he's mid-price on DK.
Yeah, Landell, it's so risky right now, and it's a pop scenario here. So it's a shame because when he plays, he gets a lot of DFS points, but I can't trust it,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anybody else in this one?
Well, that's really, I think maybe Josh Richardson. Is he playing? I think he's viable in this matchup. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, he's been getting fairly consistent minutes. He was one of the guys I'm going to mention at 4.6. I think Richardson, when he's in there, he is going to get some shots up for sure. Jones, again, the 5.4 price on DraftKings is too cheap for how much he's been playing since Murray went out.
I agree.
I'd say maybe a little too much on FanDuel, but it's close. After that, again, the Zach Collins scenario, he gets fantasy points when he's in there. How much is he going to play? And does he get in foul trouble, which he always does? But I sort of like Zach a little bit today. I think, at 4.5, he really can make a lot of things work lineup build-wise. And then Warriors, Jordan Poole's not going to miss getting shots up. I noticed his Prizepicks over-under on threes made is 4. So,
yeah,
you don't usually see it jump up to 4 unless you're Curry maybe. But Poole is a Curry, following in his footsteps. So maybe that's why they hit him at 4. But after that, you've got a lot of options here. Draymond may, knowing that the playoffs is close by, step up a little bit. He's been really having a rough time since he came back. You've got an option with him, Peyton, Wiggins. Some of those guys will get minutes. Damian Lee will get in there a little bit too with now Thompson out also. There's a lot of different directions you can go. I don't think you're going to get just sell out to the end of the bench with these teams. I think we'll see enough rotational players play that we can build a decent lineup from this one.
I think so too.
All right. Before we get to the last game real quickly, perfect time to jump in with us here at Coach Talk. It's dfscoachtalk.com. Go there. You can see our memberships. We have all kinds of different choices. Everything you get with Coach Talk is everything you see you get, because we don't hold anything back per sport or anything like that. If you sign up, become part of the Coach Talk family, you can sign up for as little as 3-day pass for $10, and you get everything. All of our basketball, baseball, golf, all our lineups, got all that rolling, and we'd love to have you be a part of what we're doing. This is our hottest time of the year every year, and we can say that now because we're going into year 3. So we've had 2 phenomenal NBA stretches during the playoffs, and then we've also had we had some 10, 15K takedowns last year in baseball during the NBA playoffs as well. So this is the pocket of time that we absolutely love, mid-April until mid-June. So come and join Coach Talk, dfscoachtalk.com. All right, last game on the slate, Crash, Sacramento Kings, LA Clippers. Clippers favored by 11.5. It's a 224 total. As far as injuries in this one, no Davis, Fox, Len, or Sabonis for the Kings. And for the Clippers, no Kawhi or Preston. So I guess the big question is, do we just dive back on the Davion Mitchell, Damian Jones shows? Those 2 guys have been kicking tail a bit lately. Are you going to be eating some of that chalk?
Half of it. I like Mitchell, 7,100 on FanDuel, 7,000 on DK. I do like him. And he's probably the only play on Sacramento that I really like.
Okay.
All the minutes are just being spread out all over the place, and no one's really putting up big numbers. Damian Jones, he's going to have to deal with Zubac and Hartenstein. So I don't know that this is going to be a game for him to put up those big numbers. And then on the LA side, Paul George, 9,000 on FanDuel, 9,300 on DK. Don't know if I'm going to go there. He hasn't really been putting up the big numbers that you would want at that price at all.
Right.
Because he's not playing extended minutes. He's been in a lot of blowout situations. I could see this game kind of going that same path. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. I do like Norman Powell at 6,600 on FanDuel, especially on DK where he's 5,300. I like that price for him. And then the bigs, we've attacked the bigs against Sacramento quite a bit. So Hartenstein at 5,800 on FanDuel, 5,200 on DK, and Zubac 5,600 on FanDuel, 5,000 on DK. So those guys, Powell, Hartenstein, Zubac, probably be my favorite plays from the Clippers, and just Mitchell for me on Sacramento.
Yeah. How many minutes do you think we'll get out of Norm?
What's he been getting, like 25 lately? Somewhere around there?
I mean, he's just come back recently. I'm thinking mid-20s as well.
Yeah, he put up almost
enough on this.
Yeah, he put up almost 40 DK points in his last game. So
I know
that could be enough.
I mean, it will be enough at that price. I mean, I think I'm going to dial him up because they want to sharpen that pencil for the playoffs. And,
right, absolutely.
I think he's a wise play here. He's one of my guys. I was fearful that we could get one of those blips of an 18-minute game or something, but I'm thinking good 28 is what I have him at right now. I'm hoping. Okay. So that would get it done. But I like Norman here. I think that Reggie Jackson is a possibility. I mean, at his price, it's palatable. Davion Mitchell. I like Davion Mitchell and Damian Jones. I mean, even if they're popular, I'm going with them. I think Damian just wants to finish well, solidify a spot for next season. I mean, these are going to be back-to-backs for all of these teams today because everybody plays tomorrow. So all 6 of these teams that we're talking about are on the first night of a back-to-back. So, if they're going to rest a few of these guys, maybe they do it tomorrow. Or the guys that are sitting, guys like Clay, maybe they play tomorrow. So we're going to have, we'll follow that for the podcast tomorrow. But I don't mind because I'm going to have some real contrarian moves in the other games. Really don't mind going to Mitchell and Jones. They have been so steady recently for Sacramento. I think they get enough minutes to get it done. This really has been the coming out show for Davion Mitchell. I mean, it's going to make them feel a lot better about losing Halliburton. Not that that's easy, but at least if they can run. The problem is, though, how do you go with Fox and Mitchell next year when they're both so small? That's a tiny backcourt.
Right.
But anyway, I guess we worry about that next year. Any of there's a few guys here I think you can go with if you're trying to fill in a final spot, even if they get 25 minutes of Harrison Barnes or somebody of that nature, or Marcus Morris. You can get there on a 3-game slate. It doesn't bury you if they don't get full extended minutes. So that's it. It's not an easy slate by any stretch. There's a couple of really good plays, I think. And let's go and jump right in here and get this 2 brains are better than 1 lineup rolling. And it's on FanDuel. It's for a GPP play. I'll start out for us with point guard Davion Mitchell.
Okay. I will take Jose Alvarado.
I like that play. I do like it. I'm going to take Norman Powell, sir.
Okay.
We'll build up these guys we just hyped up and see what we can do from there.
This is a GPP, right?
This is a GPP, yes.
We're
going to be a little different. We're trying to take down something big with a single bullet.
Right. I'm going to take CJ McCollum instead of Jordan Poole.
I like that play. I'm going to really like it when you see my Prizepicks play. That's a hit. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go a couple of options here that I was looking at. I'm trying to decide between them. I apologize for the cold, everybody out there. It's on its way downward. So I think by tomorrow, I'll sound like myself again. My other monitor went out, so if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my laptop. I'm a whirling dervish mess today with all this stuff, man. Just trying to fight through it all.
Yeah.
How about if we go, I'm going to stick to my guns, center Damian Jones.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and slot in Zach Collins at power forward.
I like that play. That's one I was considering. And I like having, quote unquote, two centers in there, you know?
Yep.
That gives us 70. We got plenty of money.
Oh, I know.
Plenty. I want Desmond Bain at 6'8".
Okay. I will take. Let's see. I'll take Wiggins at 6,200.
Wiggins. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wiggins.
We're going to leave a lot of salary on the table, but I think that's okay on this slate.
You know, on this slate, you can't worry about that. It's going to happen. It's probably going to happen tomorrow too, even though there's so many teams playing.
Yeah, especially for GPPs, you know.
Yeah, it's somewhat irrelevant. I mean, with all of the movement of everything going on. I'm tempted on a few guys here, but I guess we go. Oh man, this is so hard. This isn't a layup or slam dunk, if you will. I think I think Draymond wants to have a decent game here.
Okay.
I know it's not a great pick, but I think, you know, he may play decent enough minutes, maybe not play much tomorrow. So we are leaving 3,300 on the board. Again, very unusual, but not at this stage of the game. Don't just spend money on salary for guys just because they're more, because you don't need it today. So our two brains are better than one lineup as it stands right now. And if there are any changes, we'll post on Twitter throughout the afternoon, and we'll certainly have it in our Discord. Davion Mitchell, Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum, Desmond Bain, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Zach Collins, Draymond Green, and Damian Jones. All right. And that leads us to our next spot, Prizepicks. And I gave a little clue away on my top two Prizepicks plays of the day. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, they got moved off my board. I better check them to make sure that they didn't change in value. I can tell you my second favorite pick, and the reason I was happy you didn't take Poole, is I'm 4 is a lot, and I'm taking under 3-pointers made Jordan Poole a total of 4. I mean, I can see him going 3 for 10, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm taking 4. It's not like I'm running with every dime to play it, but I just think 4 is a little bit too much respect for Poole in this game.
Okay. I'm taking the over at 10.5 points for Zubats. He's gone over that number in 2 of 3 games against Sacramento this year. In the one game that he did go under, he had 10 points, so he just missed it. And he's gone over that number in 4 of his last 5 games. So I like the over at 10.5 points for Zubats.
I like it. For me, this isn't a weird play, but this is my top play of the day. In looking at multiple different reasons here. I like the way it sits, the minutes, the matchup, everything that goes on here. It's total PRA 19.5 for O'Shea Brissett. And I like the PRA number here for him because he does a little bit of everything. He'll knock down the 3. He'll grab some rebounds. He can dish it. He's been steady in his minutes in the rotation, against a Philly team that, a lot of times with their rotation, he's going to have some real advantage with their substitutes. So I like Brissett here over PRA 19.5.
Okay. So that's going to be on the other slate, right? The earlier
Oh, is
slate?
that's the early 110 slate. All right, so listen, I'm going to give you that one as a bonus. How's that sound? So that's a bonus. If you catch this before that, get that in. We'll try to post this before. I apologize for that. I'll give you my third pick. So in case you don't have this one, you can play the two-teamer on the other one. So go ahead and give yours.
Okay.
I'll get my third one double checked and make sure the number didn't change.
Okay. My top play is going to be Jordan Poole over 25.5 points. He's San Antonio's allowed the 7th most points to point guards. Yeah. And he scored 28 and 31 points in his 2 games without Steph Curry this year against San Antonio. So yeah, I like the over at 25.5 points.
Excellent. I like that too. My other play, I'm not going to say it's my favorite play. It's a secondary play as well, but I like it. It's Draymond Green's only 7.5 real point is the number. I like that over for sure. As you saw, I picked Draymond in our 2 brains lineup. This was one I was going to save for our members, but because I play in that earlier game, I really think it's a solid play. All he has to score, 4 buckets or a combination of a couple of buckets or 3, a couple of free throws. So 7.5 over real points for Draymond Green.
All right.
So that is it, my friend. That is it. A little breakdown on the 3-game slate, a little prize picks action, a little 2 brains action for FanDuel. That's the whole enchilada. So anything else from your side of the table?
I mean, we've got a big weekend, we got the Masters and baseball going and the final week of the regular season for the NBA. So, hopefully we can crush it. I think we've got a good edge, especially in NBA. The lineups have been strong. The numbers have been strong, with our edge, like we talked about earlier this week. So I do like where NBA is going. We've got a strong start to our MLB season, and Masters is looking good. Like you said, we've only got one guy that missed the cut. So,
yeah, I agree, man. And it's going to be wide open for sure in that one this weekend. So,
right.
Fantastic. Really appreciate everybody listening in. Our goal is to keep this under 30 minutes get as much information in as we could so people have time, and we're going to make it. So that's cool. Yeah. And I'll be back tomorrow. Crash will be on for baseball. I'll hammer in that final, just 30 NBA teams playing. No big deal. We'll finish that off tomorrow. And then if you're in our Discord or part of what we're doing, I am going to announce I haven't done this yet, but I am going to throw it in Discord. I will be releasing some final round plays for the Masters. So normally we only do full tournament and weekend only, but we're adding final round tomorrow as well.
Okay, cool.
So, join in on Discord, check all that out. We'd love to have you, dfscoachtalk.com. And then the last thing is you're exiting here. Thumbs up. Do that for 1 second. On YouTube, it makes such a difference to us. If you give us the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit that little alarm in the upper corner so you know anytime any of our podcasts post. All right, Crash, great job as usual, my man. We will be talking to you soon. And everybody out there listening, if we do have any changes in any of our prize picks or 2 brains, we'll be posting that through our man Colin on Discord or on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.